Hello everyone, welcome on in. It's Betting Weekly Game Bet Match. It's a tennis betting podcast brought to you in association with Bet Rivers, your hometown sportsbook. You may have seen our preview show on the tournament winner on the men's singles and the women's singles. Now it's time for myself and our senior ATP Tour handicapper, Sean Calvert, to break down the best bets on round one at Flushing Meadow, with the action starting on Monday morning. Good morning to you, Sean.
Good morning. Bright and early again. You all right?
The early bird catches the worm, and that is the way you've got to do in betting. We've got to get these out early. We've got to get these betters, get in the value. You've got to be up early to get the value.
Yeah, well, I'm up early anyway, generally, but because Lagan gets up at the crack of dawn. But yeah, I'm ready. I think I'm just watching a repeat of the Winston-Salem final there. The trend held firm. Sonego won it, lost in qualies in Cincinnati the previous week. So another one for... the problem with that was there was 25 players that fit the trends. So, yeah, a win for Sonego. I'm just looking at the weather forecast, actually. It looks a bit moody for when I get to New York. It's all right when you're there. As soon as I land on the Saturday, it starts raining for 3 days.
Really?
4 days. Yeah. It says Saturday evening, rain. Sunday, rain. Monday, rain. Tuesday, rain.
Well, that's not
Sunday
good
and
for
Monday
me.
Sunday and Monday might be right. Might be a little bit showery, but Tuesday looks a bit rough.
That's the day I'm there. I'm only there Thursday through to Tuesday.
Thursday and Friday and Saturday are all right for you. I don't get there till Saturday night, and that's when it starts raining. So yeah, that'll be fun. That's kind of fits the trends for the whole year. I don't think I've been to a tournament this year when it hasn't rained, apart from Mallorca. And
Croatia?
It rained there.
Croatia?
Did it rain there? I think it did rain there, didn't it?
I think it rained when I landed for about
it rained when you turned up, didn't it?
Oh dear.
Yeah. Anyway, never mind. I'm sure it'll be a week to go. The weather forecast probably isn't that accurate. So
that is not good news. That's not. I've had a bit of a bad news this trip. Obviously, I've got the nice hotel with the rooftop pool, thinking I'll sit up there now it's raining, so that's not going to be good.
It's only a bit of light drizzle. You'll be all right.
You know what I did today? I looked at my BA account, and I am really, really tiny short of maintaining my tier level. So you need to take a certain amount of flights to make sure that I'm a silver member, and I want to keep the silver menu because you can get into the lounge, you can get free access. So I looked to see if I could upgrade my seat to business class, and it was $5,000 to £5,000, about $5,500 to upgrade there and back. So I thought, I'm not paying that. There's no way I'm paying that. So I thought, how much it?
Both ways. That's that you get both trips for that $5,000.
Yeah, five. But one way was £1,000, and the return was £4,000 because obviously a night flight, so people want to sleep in it. So
people want to sleep on it. Yeah.
So I thought, but I need to make sure I get it. And if I bought that flight, it would mean I maintain the bonus. So I thought I'll buy the flight, go in there. I had a good day at the weekend. Neil Channing gave me some winners of the horses. So I thought I've had a good week betting. So I thought I'll treat myself and I'll buy it. I buy it, and your tier points only count on your original booking.
That's a bit mean, isn't it?
It's terrible, isn't it?
So if you upgrade it doesn't count. That doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't count. You only get what you buy originally.
Well, I suppose looking on the bright side, at least you've got a nice business class flight on whatever flight it is, the return or the outbound or whatever.
But it's good overnight. It's not really good at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, really. I want it.
Well, I'll swap you then. You can go in my economy.
You're okay. I swap it for the money. You want to give me the money? I'll swap it for. But no, the purpose of doing it wasn't really to travel. It was just to get those points, and obviously it's backfired. But anyway, looking forward to it. Myself and Sean will be, and then the rain. We'll be singing in the rain.
They've got roofs, so it's fine.
Yeah, we'll be fine. Whatever happens, we'll find some action for you. We'll find some wagers for you, and you'll be able to find us. Because we win on Twitter and Instagram as well. Lots of content coming your way throughout the next 2 weeks on the men's and the women's draw, on our socials and here on the Betting Weekly Studios. And on the Betting Weekly Studios, we've had an amazing amount of people who've subscribed and watched these shows already this weekend. I think we're going to be on for our highest ever week of views. So thank you very much. If you're new, welcome on in. Hopefully we can cash you some tickets over the next 2 weeks, and hopefully we have some fun along the way in doing so. Now, the purpose of this show is not about our travel arrangements. It's not about the weather forecast. It's about giving you some winners. And Sean has looked at the draw. 64 matches, 128 players. He's broken it down to 5 matches that he likes to get involved in. If you want to bet more, head across to the Bet Rivers website. There'll be offers galore throughout the tournament, or the app. They have every single match available now, and around about 37 different markets on each match as well. But for this show, it's just the 5 matches that Sean likes. Before we go into the matches, Sean, the trends here. We've spoken about the trends on the tournament winner, usually going to a more fancy player. I haven't looked at the trends, but I always felt as a bookmaker and as a bettor over the years that going into the US Open, you can get heavy favourites beat. I don't know if the trends back that up, my way of thinking.
It's slightly better than the other tournaments in terms of underdog winners. Just looking at the sheet here, actually, averages, it's still not great. I mean, it averages 27% over the last sort of 12 years or so. Last 3 years, it's averaged 30%, which is, I'd say, probably the best of the Grand Slams. I mean, generally speaking, like the French Open and the Australian, they're normally pretty awful for underdog winners. The French particularly, I think it was 19% or 18% underdogs this year at the French. Wimbledon was bad as well. Wimbledon was down at about that sort of level. But the US Open averages last 3 years 30%. So what you mentioned on the other show with the sort of fitness, they've had obviously 8 months of hard tennis. You know, you do get some players that are a bit fatigued, a little bit injured. Maybe that's got something to do with it. The hot and humid conditions, you know, the sort of general noise, and some people just don't have particularly good records at the US Open. There's several of these that I'm about to talk about today don't have great records, but whatever the reason, ultimately there are slightly more underdogs that win at this major than the others.
Yep, and we're going to start off with one of those players who doesn't have a good record in US Open. Stefanos Tsitsipas. He's up against Thanasi Kokkinakis, who is a heavy favourite here. Tsitsipas minus 315 is the price for the Greek. Kokkinakis is plus 250. The spread here is 4.5 minus 125 for Tsitsipas, minus 103 for Kokkinakis, and the total is a very high 39.5. They played once before in the Australian Open in 2021, and it was Tsitsipas who edged it 6-4 in the final set, but a match that featured 2 tiebreaks as well and easily cashed on the overs. I think it could be a long one as well here. Tsitsipas is not playing well, minus 315, doesn't have a good record. He wouldn't be one for me at these short prices. Where's the best angle of attack here, Sean?
Yeah, these are all matches where I think the favourites are too short in price. He was 1-10 last time he played Kokkinakis. Good chance there, Kokkinakis, on recent form. If you look at their last 10 matches at main level and outdoor hard, Kokkinakis service points won and return points won, total of 103, and a hold and break total of 103. Tsitsipas 101 and 101. So this is a short snapshot of their outdoor hard form currently, but it does show you that Kokkinakis is playing excuse me, the better tennis right now. He's done better on this American swing. Historically, he's not done so well on the US Open swing. I don't think he hadn't been past the round 2 of any of the summer hard court tournaments since 2019. Until this year, when he played really, really well in what were pretty brutal conditions in Washington, D.C. Should have beaten Korda in straight sets. He was a set and 5-2 up, 100-1 on in play. Korda fluked a save of a match point off the frame. And Kokkinakis ended up choking it, as he unfortunately does tend to do on occasions. And then again, he lost another tight one, Kokkinakis, in a final set tiebreak to Hurkacz in Montreal. But this is all much better form than he's shown in America in previous years. Normally, Kokkinakis, he's had the odd good run at places like Los Cabos, but on this North American hard court swing, you know, the main tournaments, the 500s and the Masters, he's not done anything until this year. Just shows us, for me, a change in attitude. He's also had fitness problems, so maybe he's feeling fitter this year than he has at this time of year in previous years. But whatever it is, he's playing better tennis than ever at the US Open swing. As I said, better stats than Tsitsipas. If you look at what Steph has done at the US Open, he's 6-6 win-loss at the US Open. So he's got a 50% win rate, and he's never been past the last 32 of this particular tournament. This is all down to his return game. He's talking now about obviously hiring a new coach now that he's kind of acrimoniously kind of split with his dad. I don't know what's going on there. You might know with the social media, but I think he's definitely said he was looking to hire a new coach, but the limitations to his game on hard courts are still there. He still tries to block the return back or slice it back or chip it back off the backhand side. It's okay on the clay to get the point started, but on the hard courts, it doesn't do him any favours. And 8 of the 12 matches that he's played at the US Open have featured a tiebreak. He's just not anywhere near the level on return that he needs to be on hard courts. So this is an opportunity for Kokkinakis. As I've said, he's playing better tennis right now on hard courts, North American hard courts, than Tsitsipas is. I couldn't possibly have Tsitsipas at minus 315. The question is how to bet it. I'm going to take Kokkinakis plus 1.5 sets here, plus money, plus 123. That was when I wrote this with Bet Rivers. So Kokkinakis has got to win 2 sets. The obvious option is the over games, because I would expect at least 1, maybe 2 tie breaks here, possibly more if it goes the whole distance. So the overs is a fair option as well. But yeah, just a short price favourite that is too short based on what he's done or not done on hard courts or generally on quicker surfaces. He tends to be now, he's pretty much clay only now, Tsitsipas. Away from that, he's lost really.
Yep, Kokkinakis plus 1.5 sets. He's still plus 123. Bet Rivers. Remember, this match doesn't start on Monday. A lot of matches do start on Monday at 11 o'clock. This is a Tuesday match. We do not know the order of play yet, but the action starts at 11 o'clock Eastern time. So it's worth.
I think the order of play is out actually. Sorry, mate.
For Tuesday.
Yeah.
Is it? This is Tuesday's match.
I don't know, but I know the order of play is out for Tuesday because I saw it last night on. Somebody put it on Twitter.
I know Mondays. The first day's order plays out. I thought the Tuesday's order play comes out on Monday night.
I think it's out. Well, carry on. Anyway, I'll have a look.
Check the order play. I know it's a Tuesday match, so we'll have to. If Sean can get the time for us, we'll supply you with the time. But I think it's 11 o'clock. The action starts, so make sure you get on nice and early. If you get on tomorrow, no problem. But if you leave it late, make sure you check the time of the start. The next match is also a Tuesday start. It's Felix Auger-Aliassime. He's up against Jakub Mensik, which is another heavy favourite. The Canadian is minus 335. He's shown signs of a revival in recent weeks. Just edging towards a little bit of his past glories. Plus 250 for Mensik. The spread here is a very high 5.5. Minus 104 for Felix. Minus 124 for Mensik. Total 37.5. They have met once before, which was in Madrid on clay this year. But Mensik was injured in that match. He lost the first set 6-1, and then he had to retire when it was 1-0 in the second set. So really, there's no real form guide to go on that. Mensik's struggled a little bit, struggled in qualifying in Montreal, struggled in Cincinnati. So you would, on paper, look at this and think Felix should win this at minus 335. Sean, you put this in for a reason. I don't think it would be the betting Felix Auger-Aliassime at minus 335.
Indeed, it won't. I'm just trying to look for this draw. Actually, I'll come back to that in a minute. Yeah, Mensik's a good player. He's Felix at minus 335. I mean, when they played in Madrid a few months ago, Felix was 1.89, minus 112. Now he's 1.3, minus 333. And what's that based on? Not a lot, really. And given also that Felix has a pretty poor record in round 1 of majors, it looks much too short to me. I sort of picked up Felix, didn't I, after a good Olympics. I went for him in Montreal and Cincinnati, and Montreal he lost in the first round. Cincinnati lost second or third round, I think, to Draper in that peculiar circumstance on match point. But if we look at what Felix has done in round 1 at the US Open, he's yet to win a single match in straight sets. He's had 3 defeats and 3 wins that took him 4 sets. So a very slow starter at majors indeed, and in this one he's never won a match in straight sets. And going for the totals here, as you can probably imagine. If you look at the last 12 months at main level and outdoor hard, it's actually Mensik that's got a much, much better win rate. Mensik's won 64% of his matches at main level and outdoor hard in the last 12 months. Service points won and return points won total does favour Felix slightly, 101 to 98. But he's only got a 42% win rate. Mensik's 24% better in terms of win rates. And Mensik's shown what he can do on this surface numerous times. He made the final in Doha earlier on this season, beat Davidovich Fokina, beat Rublev, beat Andy Murray, beat Monfils, lost to Khachanov in the final there. Also played a good match at the start of the year, which we bet as well, against Hurkacz at the Australian Open. I think I went for overs there. Ended up being 5 sets. Lost in the 5th, Mensik. And he has that profile of a strong serve. He's a big serving guy, big hitting guy. Return game needs work. He holds 83% of the time on this surface, only breaks 16% of the time. So these two have the profile, particularly Mensik, of strong serving, not so great on return. Combine that with Felix's dodgy record in the round 1 of majors. and the fact that he didn't really do anything in the hard court swing, having come to Montreal with loads of momentum, did nothing there, didn't really do much in Cincinnati, beat what looked like a severely ill Casper Ruud, and then lost to Jack Draper. It's got to be overs for me. I think this is going to be this. I could see this going all the way. Over 37.5 total games. When I checked this earlier was 1.91 minus 110 with Bet Rivers. So it's overs for me. I think this is going to be a tough start for Felix.
Yeah, over 37.5 is the bet for sure. And I also like over set one, over 10.5. I think.
Yeah,
I think you've put me on the Auger-Aliassime overs in set one before when we've done these shows. I think he has an awful lot of tie breaks in the opening sets. I think
he does.
Tie break set one as well could be a way to go. So, you know, what we see in these majors, in the amount of times over the years that I've bet someone over 37, the first set's gone exactly how you picture it, and then the second set's gone 6-3, 6-2, and he's all of a sudden gone from a winning position to a losing position very quickly.
That can happen. Yeah,
it does happen. Yeah, so I like the Felix Auger-Aliassime over in Mensik over in set one as well. Which, you know, obviously Sean's bet here is the official pick, but if you want to have a little bit of extra juice as well, maybe a tie-break in set one or over 10.5, but definitely overs Mensik against Felix Auger-Aliassime. Now, one match that is tomorrow, and it opens up proceedings. It's 11 o'clock. It's one of the first matches on court. It's the Frenchman, the big left-handed server, Humbert, up against Thiago Monteiro. Now, Humbert is a heavy favourite here, minus 625. Monteiro is plus 440. The spread is 6.5. Monteiro receiving the 6.5 is a marketable favourite, minus 136, and the total here is 36.5. They have met once before on grass in Eastbourne, which surprisingly Monteiro won 6-7, 6-3, 6-4. So a long match on the grass in Eastbourne in 2022, a surface that you would expect Humbert to win. Humbert is expected to win here. He's minus 625. 6.5 does seem steep. What's the best angle again?
I'll just very quickly. I've got the schedule up for Tuesday now. Tsitsipas is first on 11 a.m. grandstand, so that's good. Warm conditions, lively conditions, not a night match. Happy with that. What was the other one we were talking about? Felix. That's also an early match, I think. Where's that? I'll have to find that again, but I think that's an early match as well. I saw that a minute ago. There's about 200 matches on here, all sorts of stuff. It's an early match anyway. Tsitsipas definitely is. Oh yeah, court 5. 11 a.m. So they're both on at 11 a.m. Felix and Tsitsipas. Right, what are we talking about now? Humbert. Right, let's move on to this. I've got quite a few windows up here. I've got to get myself back to what I was talking about. Yeah, it's just a bad price, isn't it? This Humbert minus 625. Yeah. I wouldn't be backing Humbert at that price against many players. People are just looking at this. The books are just looking at this and going Monteiro, the clay court, yeah, okay, nothing to see here. Not so sure, really. Humbert's in poor form. Lost 5 of his last 7 matches. I think he was at that UTS knockabout a couple of days ago as well. But lost 5 of his last 7 matches coming into this. Another one with a poor record at the US Open. He's played 8 matches here, lost 6 of them. And his service points won and return points won total in those 8 matches is 96. And he's not like he's been losing to fabulous players. He's lost to Peter Giofchik, Benjamin Bonzi, Marius Copil. They've all beaten him here at the US Open. It's not a great list, that. Monteiro doesn't have a great record here either, as you would expect. He's 1-6 as well, but he's been competitive in defeat against good players. Khachanov, 4 sets. Dan Evans, 4 sets. Felix, 4 sets. Malik Jaziri back in the day, 5 sets. He's only lost in straight sets once here. That was back in 2019. And Monteiro, as you said, he's beaten Humbert on grass. That's Humbert's favourite surface. And you would imagine, if you ask Thiago Monteiro, I should imagine grass isn't right up there in his list of surfaces that he likes to play on. And Monteiro was a 2.92 chance then. Now he's way bigger than that. And those are the best conditions that Humbert can possibly get. You know, quick, low bouncing, and Monteiro still beat him. The problem with Humbert is inconsistency, and it looked like he'd ironed that out sort of earlier on in the year, but he's gone again. He plays a good set. We bet against him the other week, didn't we, with Jordan Thompson? And that was just another example. Humbert played great in the first set. I think he cleaned him up about 6-2 or 6-3. And when you see him playing like that, you think, well, this guy's good. But then the next set, he starts spraying it. You know, the unforced errors come, the confidence goes. Then he finds the level again, then it goes again. He just generally has a poor set or two in him. And it's cost him recently, as I said, lost 5 of his last 7 matches. Look at Humbert in Grand Slams. He's played 39 matches in Grand Slams, and he's only won 7 of them in straight sets. So 18% he's won in straight sets. So 82% of the time he doesn't win in straight sets at Grand Slams. 82% of the time is minus 456, 1.22. So I'm perfectly happy here to go over 36.5 games based on Humbert's struggles to win in straight sets, based on the fact that Monteiro's taken some very, very good players here to 4 sets. He always turns up, Monteiro, at a slam. He's not the kind of guy that go, oh, it's not clay, I'm not interested. He always puts the effort in. He's not going to be scared about Humbert. He's beating him on grass. So overs again for me here, over 36.5 total games, I believe was the line when I looked earlier at 1.9 minus 111 with Bet Rivers.
Yeah, it is still the price. And obviously when you go to any tournaments in America, the South American players have a huge amount of support. And Monteiro will be, wherever this might be on one of the outside courts,
it'll be hot.
It'll be very hot. He'll have all the support as well in a very small court. I mean, I've watched a couple of Colombian players and a couple of Brazilian players before on the outside courts in New York, and it's like being in Rio on some of these courts. And I don't think Hugo and Humbert will have many supporters there coming over from France. But Monteiro is definitely going to be motivated with this one, and the totals at 36.5 does look a value play.
I'm not sure what day this is on actually, but
it's tomorrow.
Is it?
It's the, yeah, it's one of the first. It's 11 o'clock. It's the first match of the day tomorrow. And another match that's first day on tomorrow, first on court, is Dominic Stricker up against Francesco Comesana. Comesana burst onto the tennis scene with his win over Rublev in round 1 Wimbledon. He reached the third round where he got beat by Lorenzo Musetti. And now he's up against Stricker, who's had a bit of injury concern, Stricker. And he's a big server, Dominic Stricker. We know that. He plays a lot of tie breaks. But he isn't playing very well, and he has had some injury concerns. He's minus 335, which does appear to be very, very short against Comesana, a man who's got some good pedigree in the majors this year. The spread is 5.5, minus 114 for Comesana, plus that 5.5. And again, the total here looks a bit cheap at 36, with over minus 115. Big server, Stricker, but the rumour is he's not fit.
Yeah, he isn't fit. That's apparent to anyone that's sort of watched him play in recent times. Is he fit to play 5 sets in 30 degrees? I wouldn't have thought so. He doesn't look like he's anywhere near the sort of level that many people would have watched Stricker here last year at the US Open. Played really well. He got to the sort of latter stages, didn't he? Last 16 or something. I think he beat Tsitsipas here last year, didn't he? If memory
I watched
serves
that
me
match. I was at that match.
Tsitsipas, wasn't it?
Yeah, and he beat. He beat another American. I think of it in a minute. I'll tell you in a minute.
I think he played Fritz as well. I can't remember off the top of my head, but he certainly.
I'll tell you one second.
He certainly played well here at the US Open last year, but he's not in that sort of shape these days.
He beat Popperin in round 1. He beat Tsitsipas, and then he got beaten in the last 16 by Fritz. I was at Fritz, I watched the Tsitsipas match. Yeah,
he's dangerous in these conditions. Big serve, big forehand, but he didn't play. We're going back to last September here when we're talking about last year's US Open. After that, he didn't play from November until June due to injury. I can't remember what the exact injury was. Shoulder, I think. I can't remember. But he was certainly out for the best part of 6 months. And he's only played 12 matches this season. And only 4 of those have been at main level. Most of those have been in challengers, where he's just trying to get his fitness up. But he looked absolutely nowhere near against Lorenzo Sonego in Winston-Salem last week. And he wasn't great in the match prior to that against Correa, who's an out-and-out clay course. You can't get more of an out-and-out clay dog than Correa. And he beat him. I think it was 7-5, 6-2. He beat him, I think. First set in particular was a real struggle. There was no great power advantage for Stricker. He just isn't fit. Comesana was awful at Winston-Salem as well, but I'm not that worried about that. Some players just can't be bothered the week before a major. The interesting part is that he played really, really well at Wimbledon, beat Andrei Rublev at Wimbledon, and then a match that I sat there for about 6 hours for against Adam Walton, beat him as well. Then he lost in a long 4-setter against Musetti. He's given up a big power advantage against all of those players on a quick surface, and he still ended up winning 2 of them and losing a tight one to Musetti, who ended up going to the semis, I think, wasn't it? So he's not incapable by any means on a hard court. Yeah, he was poor in Winston-Salem, but I can overlook that. He should fancy this. If I was in the Comesana camp, I'd be showing him videos of Stricker, and he's just nowhere near fit. So it's a punt on fitness, but I'm just taking Comesana to win it here. if there's a retirement, then after the first set, you will get paid out of Bet Rivers. I think he's about plus, 250? Comesana?
Comesana is, he's plus 250.
Yeah, that's the bet for me. It's just based on fitness. Sometimes you just have to take a view on players, and for me, Stricker, I'm not so sure. His best chance, Stricker, is just to win this, play a really clean match and win it in straight sets and get out of there. If this goes sort of 4 or longer, I can't see Stricker winning it in these conditions. It's going to be hot. Not sure he's fit. I'm taking a gamble on Comesana.
Yeah, nice value play. Plus 250 is the price with Bet Rivers. The handicap, if you want to take a chance on that, the spread is plus 5.5. Lots of different angles, 37 different markets available on the Bet Rivers app on all the matches, including the Stricker Comesana. It's the first match on court on opening day. So you've got to get on early. When this podcast drops, make sure you head across there and take that price, because I don't think it's going to be there when the players take to the court to open proceedings at the US Open 2024. The final match we are going to discuss is Sebastian Korda against Corentin Moutet, 2 players that you wouldn't want your life depending on carrying your money on these two.
Indeed.
Oh my. So this is a match that will be a public wealth warning. Minus $4, Sebastian Korda. Moutet is $3. Spread is 6.5. Heavy favourite from Korda. He's even money giving up the 6.5. Total 35.5. And as soon as I see that total line, I'm thinking that 35.5 looks value. They have met once before, and it was a typical match you would expect from these two. Moutet raced into a 2-1 lead at the Australian Open in 2022, and then Korda came back 7-5 and won in a tiebreak 7-6. So the over easily cashed here. 35.5 looks cheap to me, Sean. It really does. I'm interested to see if you're going to go the same, but I like this over minus 110 here.
Yeah, I'm not sure about this price on Sebastian Korda, minus $4. No, not for me. I mean, he's another one that struggles at the US Open so far. He's 2-6 win-loss, including qualies, Korda, so he's only won 2 of his 8 matches at the US Open. Moutet made the last 16 here a couple of years ago. Very good run for him, so he's proven he can play here. Korda hasn't. At the US Open, their service points won and return points won totals are exactly the same, both on 98. So nothing to choose between them in that score. Yeah, you would say Korda's certainly got the better stats on hard courts lately, but he was very, very lucky to win Washington, D.C. As I said earlier, he was match points down to Kokkinakis for a comfortable straight sets loss when he framed one onto the line and got away with it and ended up winning the tournament. Kokkinakis ended up retiring that match. Korda ended up going all the way, but then he's on a roll. This is what kind of disappoints me about Korda all the time. He's on a roll. He's won DC. He's gone to Montreal. He's dodged the rain there. He's in the semi-finals, I think it was, against Popyrin. He was ahead in the first set against Popyrin, I think. Ended up losing a pretty poor tiebreak and just tamely fell away again. I mean, what a great chance that was for Korda to win a Masters 1000 that you would probably say his ability deserves. Ended up just losing a one that he should have won against Popyrin. And this is what worries me about Korda. It's just the mental side of things. The game is certainly there, but he gets down on himself, loses faith in the forehand. Things go wrong for him. He's not a kind of player that would generally scrap himself out of bad situations. He's not a guy that tends to win ugly very often. It's either clicking for him or it isn't. When he played against Moutet, Moutet, very, very tricky customer. Went 5 sets, as you said, at the Australian Open in 2022. Moutet served for a 3-1 win that day, and he won 8 more points in the match than Korda did. So he probably should have won that. It was very windy that day, but is that an excuse? I don't know. Maybe it is for Korda, but it's just disappointing from a Korda point of view. What he does one week, and then the next week, after that loss to Popyrin, he ended up losing again to Pablo Carreño Busta in Cincinnati. And he's lost in round 1 in 3 of his last 5 majors, Korda. So in big matches, I wouldn't trust him at all. Looking back on that Australian Open match, Korda was 1.67, minus 149 when he played Moutet. Now he's 1.25, which is minus 400. I'm just not sure about this price at all. It does worry me with it, given who this is. I'm probably not going to make this an official play because it involves Moutet and Korda, but I've put here lean over 35.5 games, which I think what you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
at 1.91. That would be where I'm going in this one. I think I'm desperately keen to take Korda on, but I'm a little bit worried about Moutet's brain, as you can probably imagine. Anyone that's seen him play, he can destruct from pretty much any position. But yeah, overs probably for me here.
Yeah, I think the overs are a nice play as well. I think both of these players, as you said, you can't trust either of them. They're both temperamental. They both have, especially over 5 sets, they're going to have wobbles. And I just can't see it being a straight sets win for either player, really. So, yeah, over 35.5 would be a lean for me as well. That's it. That's the 5 matches. That's round 1 of the men's singles looked at. Our best 5 picks. These are the matches that really interest Sean. Obviously, people say to us, oh, this game's better interest, that one's better interest. Well, there's so many matches to choose from. It's up to you to go and play short wagers. But these are the 5 that we have broken down. Yeah, there's a lot of matches. And there's lots of, so these are the ones that we actually like, or Sean actually likes, that he thinks there's an edge in it and a value in it. And that's what we do here. We try to give you the edge and the value on the matches where we think the opportunity arises. We're slightly behind on the year, minus 86 units on this show, winning on the women's show, plus 4.5 units on the women's show as well there. So before we go, Sean, if you could just give us a recap of the official plays. Now, obviously, we've given some leans there, but we are going to count these as the official plays that go on our records, our P&L record for the year.
Yeah, Kokkinakis plus 1.5 sets to beat Tsitsipas, plus 123. Over 37.5 games in the match between Mensik and Felix. Auger-Aliassime at 1.91, minus 110. And scrolling down, I've got a long way to go here. Over 36.5 games in the match between Humbert and Monteiro at 1.9 again. And the last one, just taking a punt on Comesana at plus 250 to beat Stricker.
Yep. A whole host of bets there, some levelling different prices. There will be offers from Bet Rivers. Check the app, check the website throughout the tournament. The next 2 weeks, there'll be offers coming your way to enhance your betting experience. Remember, if you do place a bet with Bet Rivers, you'll be able to watch it live as well. Loads of great content on the socials. Myself and Sean will be out in New York, as I said at the top of the show. At Because We Win is the place for that on your socials. Download the podcast, Betting Weekly Game Bet Match, on your preferred podcast provider. And keep those subscribers coming. Amazing amount of subscribers in the last week on the YouTube show. Betting Weekly Studios on the channel here. It's growing all the time. All the comments that help the algorithms with YouTube. So thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much for comments. Let us know what you like. If you've got any questions for myself and Sean, we're more than happy to answer them. Okay, that's it. We'll be back on Tuesday looking at the second round matches in the final major of 2024. And then on Thursday, we're back Tuesday and Wednesday, and then Thursday we're flying out, and Sean will join me at the weekend. Enjoy your bank holiday weekend in the UK, Sean. Anything planned?
Is it bank holiday? I never know when bank holidays are.
Bank holiday weekend. Yes, bank holiday weekend. Bank holiday Monday.
No, is the answer.
No,
to
there
that.
you go. So there's nothing planned in the Sean Calvert household. I am sure I'll be taken down to a DIY shop somewhere like that.
It's just
the bank holiday.
Planned it.
The bank holiday.
Natasha might have done. I haven't.
It's usually the day I get dragged to IKEA. So hopefully we can do many more podcasts throughout tomorrow. Even if we're not doing one, I'm being telling the missus that I am doing a podcast tomorrow. I am actually doing a podcast tomorrow. I'm with Neil Channing on the Betting Dojo. If you haven't watched that, out on the YouTube channel, take a watch now. It's quite good fun. Okay, Sean, enjoy it. What you didn't, an unexpected bank holiday for you. You didn't know it was coming, but it's a bank holiday. Enjoy your unexpected bank holiday. Good luck everyone with your wagers. We will be back on Tuesday. Hopefully some cashing some tickets in round 1 at the US Open. Take care.